How we doing, guys? How we doing? It's Chris Graham here and Marco here in the Sportingbet offices on this bleak Wednesday, November night. I'm feeling good though, Mark. How about you?
Yeah, me too, Chris. Really delighted the Football League's back on the agenda after that international break.
Yeah, it's been a long few days, but amazing scenes last night in the Portugal game, let's be honest. It was
What an ending to that game.
absolutely, and such a wonderful player. There's no disputing that in any way. And another great result for Scotland, Mark. I just thought I'd bring that up because we are on the road to Euro 2016 anyway. Enough of this. We've got to get home for the Ashes later on. Aye, right. Anyway, three bets.
I actually am.
Saddle. 3 bets to get through this weekend. Football League, no FA Cup. I'll go straight on the back into the Football League. The Championship returns, Mark, and you're kicking off your Championship bet this week. It involves a side who've surprised everybody, Blackpool.
Yeah, definitely. Surprised me. We put them up for relegation
Absolutely.
pre-season. I did toy with opposing Watford at home to Bolton, but instead I went for a slightly bigger price here, which is Blackpool to score the first goal in their game away at Birmingham. Okay. It's a market that's been quite fruitful for us this season. A bit of a strange one. It's 11-10 with Sportingbet here, but first of all, we slagged off Lee Clark.
We did.
Week.
Sorry, Chris Quinn.
Yeah, I was going to say Chris Quinn straight away, straight in there to defend his man.
Yeah, I knew you would.
He's a big fan. A quick funny story actually. We wondered why Lee Clark is often held in quite esteem by the media. I was speaking to a friend of a friend who is a journalist. Supposedly, it's down to the fact that Clark often invites the media out for dinners, at least once a week.
Really? How can you understand
bribing them to talk him up a little bit.
Perhaps. I don't really understand them either.
They did win 3-1 at Huddersfield before the international break. Only their 4th win in 15 this season in the league, losing 9 of those. Nothing too remarkable about that. Terriers are enduring their own poor spell of form as well. Carl Bartley scored twice in that game, but he's suspended for this after a red card in that match. And it's a very young squad, which I'm not sure are coping too well with the rigours of Championship football. They struggled for goals, not too surprising when you're asking Lee Novak to lead the line. Jesse Lingard's arrival gave them a bit of a boost, but they lost their last 2 home games. Charlton and Bolton have both been to St Andrews and won. And I just can't see them escaping that sort of bottom 8 area in the Championship. And we mentioned Blackpool as a surprise, completely surprising me, but they're still 4th despite winning only 2 of their last 9 league games, which is quite surprising. Paul Ince remains suspended and unavailable to watch this game, but his son Tom continues to lead the line and be the focal point of that team. Yeah. But looking at this bet, Blackpool have only won, of course, 2 of those last 9, but they scored the first goal in 7 of those matches. Right. The 2 they didn't were 0-0 draws with Charlton and Bolton at the beginning of October. They've actually scored the first goal in 13 of the 15 games this season. Even the 2 matches that they lost, they scored first in, and they scored first in 9 of the last 11 away. It's not all one-sided either, because Birmingham have conceded the first goal in 7 of the last 12 home matches and in 5 of the last 7 games anywhere. It's 11-10 odds against on Blackpool scoring the first goal in this match.
And you'd have to say that that's a value bet, looking at statistics, odds against it, 11-10. So very strong stats there from Mark to back up his thoughts. That Blackpool trap well, they get out of the traps well, they get out of the stalls well, and they've proved that this season already. On to League 1, not quite as glamorous as Ligue 1, but League 1, and who we got here? Crew against Port Vale. Again, Port Vale for me, a side who've been underrated this year by the layers, by Sportingbet traders, and are having a great season, and they're up against Crew here, an erratic campaign, you have to say. What's your angle here, Mark?
It's got to be against Crew. I looked at this game. Is it a derby? I'm not quite sure. Sort of Stokish area against kind of.
I think Crew in Lancashire. Is it? I don't know.
Sort of near sort of. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I toyed with sort of taking Port Vale to win this match, or Port Vale to score at least 2 goals. At the same price at 23-20 with Sportingbet. I've gone for the straight out Port Vale win. Because after a shaky start and losing their first 4 of 7 fixtures, they've gone about their business quite quietly, and as you said, they've been quite underrated. They've now won 5 of their last 9 in League 1. They're a very physical side, they've got goals in them too, and I think they're the kind of opposition which will really kind of disturb Crew's pattern, and I can't see them coping too well with Mickey Adams' team. They were hammered 5-0 at Brentford last weekend. They come into this game at home having won twice at home all season. That was against Tranmere and Bristol City, both teams struggling at the wrong end with Crew. But worryingly, they've only scored 1 goal in their last 5 home games. Overall, they've taken 1 point from the last 4. Defensively, they've conceded 15 at home and 36 overall. It's nearly 2 goals a game. Vale have been the complete opposite, though. They've scored 10 in the last 4 league fixtures. A great forward line, I think, for this level. You've got the likes of Tom Pope, Lee Hughes, and Jennison Myrie Williams from midfield as well. And the last 6 read, won 3, lost 3 away from home. But they've scored twice in defeats at Orient and Swindon, and they've also won at Tranmere, Carlisle and Crawley, 3 bottom half clubs like Crewe. As I say, I'm denied about this bet and whether to take Port Vale to score 2 goals or Port Vale to win at the same price. And when you think about it, if Port Vale are going to win this game, they're going to have to score it. Well, I'll start again. If Vale score twice, they'll probably win this match. And looking at Crewe's poor home goal scoring record, 1 goal in 5 games, 1 goal could probably be enough for Vale. So 23 to 20.
Absolutely, yeah. Lee Hughes caught my eye there. If you could ever, if you could build a character, a person who just looked like he's what he's supposed to represent as a human being, it's pretty accurate, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like, he's the kind of guy that would beat me up for wearing beads and bracelets and drinking rosy wine. Horrible individual. But anyway, that's life. He's far richer than me, and I bet he's had a lot, been with a lot more attractive girls than me as well. But that's life. Anyway. League 2, that's me under on. Hartlepool against Northampton here. Eddie Boothroyd, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly, what the hell. But they did win last week. Right. Surprised us all, they beat Fleetwood 1-0 at home. Just their 3rd league win of the season though, and a bit of a shock all round last weekend when I saw that scoreline. Hartlepool though 6-5, they've got to be backed here at home. Mentioned that 3 wins and 16 in the league now for the Cobblers. Away from home though, they've won 1, lost 7, failing to score in 6. The one game that bucked that trend, they beat Wimbledon. We put Wimbledon up on this.
Yeah. They don't like you.
Further back, they've lost 9 of the last 12 away games. Those with good enough memories will know it's not just this season. Northampton have been terrible on the road. It's the last few seasons, and I've dug up a few stats here. Last season, despite finishing in the playoffs, remember, they won 4, drew 8, lost 11 away. They drew 2, lost 7 away to the top 10 last season. The season before that, they also lost 11 games on the road, so they've lost 29 of the last 54 games away in League 2.
God.
Colin Cooper's Hartlepool, they started terribly, 2 points from the first 15, failed to score in their first 5, but they finally found their feet. They beat Accrington, and since October they've won 5, lost 2 of the last 7. They did lose last Friday at Newport, but their home form is very good at the moment. They've won 4, lost 1. They're only a defeat coming against Oxford, who are top of the table, and just seem to be pulling out amazing results on the road every other week I should say. Hartlepool 1-3, drawn 3 against teams below them in the league. They're 14th, Northampton of course below them, and at 6-5 I think Hartlepool are a very nice price to bag a win.
Yeah, 6-5. Brian Walsh got sacked today. Did you see that?
Did, I was surprised about that.
He was surprised. Well, they're a relegated team in the mid-table.
I think they lost 2 of the last 4, and I wasn't very surprised to be honest.
Anyway, Brian, if you're watching, we'll care about you, and do get in touch, and we can go for a drink and just speculate why it was such a scandal that you've been sacked from Scunthorpe.